So I'm going to start first. I put a link at the very top. Guys, just a reminder, tomorrow John Novak will be running. Whoops, where is it? Tomorrow, that's the wrong one. There it is. I put the wrong link in. John Novak's going to be going through at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, covering the Nexgen automated strategy. I know a lot of you guys have heard about it. I'm super excited about it. We've been working really hard on this thing. Him working a lot harder than me. There will be no more lifetime sales, guys, and then it'll become a lease. But if you're curious, if you're interested, if you want to see the moving parts, tomorrow John will be doing a seminar, a lecture, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. You got it yesterday, Chef? Awesome. I'm telling you, it's amazing. We have had a blast, guys. And it's been fun because it's a lot like learning to trade when you're building a program like this, because you know exactly what the perfect rule is, but it's this constant, gonna get better, gonna get better, gonna get better. So I'm proud of it, and I'm proud of the work that he's put into it. Go check it out, even if it's not on your radar. Today is going to be a different sort of room, guys. There will be no Ninja Trader. Am I trading live or sim on it? I'm not trading it, Hamid. I've been a part of the development. I do have it running, but one of the things John Novak's going to do is he's going to talk to you guys about different discretionary tactics to manage the trades that you get into. But it'll tell you precisely when it's time to get in. You can make decisions on it. Jerry, it was the wrong link. It's over in Traders Chat. Hold on. I dropped the wrong link in because I do that sometimes. Let me see if he put an invitation. I believe... almost there. Hold on. There we go. There you go. That should be the link to it. And then you can click on the invitation there. I think it might be in this room, or it may be in the other room. You're welcome. Today, guys, we are going to, and I'm sure you all read the message, 90% of your day as a day trader is really spent doing nothing. 90% of your day is reading indicators. 90% of your day is not being active in the market, guys. So what we're going to do today is we're going to focus on one market. We're going to focus on the NASDAQ all day long on TradingView. And I'm not going to try to look smart, and I'm not going to try to make things happen. And I'm going to tell you guys that is a very real byproduct of standing in front of a crowd, is trying to look smart, guys. So we're just going to assume that I'm not, straight from the get-go. We're going to follow the new user plan for TradingView. This is the KISS plan, guys. This is the Keep It Simple Sunshine plan. This is the plan that is a stepping stone in your learning journey, guys. This is designed to teach you how to read indicators. And guys, reading indicators really isn't that difficult. The hardest thing you will ever do as a day trader is absolutely nothing. The most difficult thing to do as a day trader is to sit still, to watch a market move and you're not in it, because everybody has that voice in the back of the head that says, hey, that's my money and it's going without me. That's my trade and it's going without me. And guys, that's not true. The futures markets trade billions every day. Today we're going to use the most basic approach, the highest probability approach to being able to capture a percentage of that billions. And I'm going to share this. I don't really have a speech. If you've been in my room any amount of time, you know that the potential for $400 to $500 a day is evident. I am messing this all up. It is not difficult through patience to find those sort of numbers. The challenge is, can you find them consistently? Can you give yourself an edge? Can you do it day in and day out? Awesome, Victor. So what we're going to do is we're not going to chase the money today, guys. The money is a byproduct of the process to reach it. It's the process. It is the recipe for success. that typically creates success. The same way it's your golf swing that gives you birdies. It's your free throw that gives you points on the board. So we're going to focus on this user plan. If you want a copy, let me drop this in here. If you want your charts to look like my charts, one of the things that I've done in this plan, and guys, I'm telling you, I am the bare bones, only what you need kind of guy. I just dropped it in the room, the plan that we're using. This NASDAQ minimal is going to be no large triggers, no background colors. I'm trying to remove all the distractions, guys. So we're going to keep it very, very simple today. We're going to use two charts. The big chart is going to be your 15-minute chart. The 15-minute chart, guys, it is slow. No, the HVAs were always in there. Oh no, not the HVA should not be in this plan. The HVA trade is not in this plan, Andy, because you have to fight the small triggers. Guys, I'm telling you right now, this is the most basic, highest probability approach. The HVA trade in the plan that's on the website is an amazing trade, but if you don't understand a couple concepts, yeah, no, the lines are always in there. That's a part of the workspace. That's a part of the workspace. Yep. Guys, we're going to use the 15-minute. It's slow. It's crazy slow. If you thought that a 34 was slow, a 15-minute literally takes 15 minutes to build a bar. This is going to be your roadmap for key targets. This is going to be your roadmap for potential turning points, for terminations, guys. And the small trigger lines on this chart are going to define the direction that you're looking to trade and the overall momentum of the market. This chart is also going to give you a heads up on how you should be thinking to manage the trade. So to read the large chart, guys, and I want you to flood me with questions if you have something that needs a little clarity. There are three things that you're going to do every time you look at the large chart before you ever look at the small chart. On your 15-minute chart, you're going to ask yourself, what direction are the small triggers headed? They're either down or up. If they're flat, guess what? They're not heading anywhere. It's okay to sit on your hands and let them commit. So they're either down or they're up. If you are the brand new user looking for the highest chance of success, guys, you are trading in the direction of those small triggers. Easy lesson. The second thing that you will ask yourself is, where is the current price? And it's important that you're using the current price in relationship to the trigger lines, because 15-minute bars are huge and they may find themselves in all three positions on just one bar. So the most current price, where is it trading, guys? If it is left of the small triggers, this is your strong side. This is the equivalent of having strong triggers, of odds favorable momentum, guys. And this is when the 1-minute areas are most likely to break. They're not obligated to break, but they're most likely to break. This strong side of the triggers is what you're going to look for to take those momentum trades. And the strong side of the triggers, this is kind of your best of the best. The second place price could be trading is inside of the small triggers. When you are inside of the small triggers, this is your transition. This is kind of like, I still have momentum, but I'm going to manage just a little more assertively. I'm going to be hyper aware of what's going on the 1-minute chart. And I will be prepared to manage if, for instance, I get closes below the small triggers. And then finally, if you're on the weak side of the small triggers, number 3, on the right side, below the triggers when they're up, above the triggers when they're down, this is the weak side. This is when 1-minute areas are most likely to bounce. This is when 1-minute areas are most likely to create problems. So you're going to be able to use where price is trading in relationship to the triggers to give yourself an idea on how you need to manage the trade. And then finally, the age-old question, is there anything in the way? Do I have room to targets? Do I have room from my entry to get to trouble? This is your large chart read, guys. It will take you probably 3 seconds to be able to say that the market, the small triggers are up, price is in the transition, and I have plenty of room to get to an outer band. Does that make sense? This is your in-the-moment NASDAQ read. And this is what we're going to do all day long. Small triggers are up. Price is trading right inside of them. We're going to call this transition unless the full bar is outside. And I have room to targets. So this is going to be the core of everything we do on the large chart. We're going to ask ourselves these three questions every time we look at the chart. And once we answer those questions, and once we do have room to targets, we're going to go to the 1 minute chart. And guys, the 1 minute chart is still a pretty big chart if you're accustomed to the Renko charts. The 1 minute chart will define the immediate strength of the market. It will define your entry points. It'll identify little bumps in the road that you have to be aware of. So entries on the 1 minute chart will be taken at mid bands and areas for trend trades. And they will be taken from zones or areas. Guys, when I say zones, I really mean zones and areas. Mid bands, 1-to-1s, those supply and demand zones, or HVA lines in between those zones. And that's going to be for a momentum style trade. One of the things that you're going to recognize is that trades originate at areas, guys. So there's a couple things that you can do to keep yourself calm. If you're not at an area, you don't have trade rules met. There will be two entry looks on the 1 minute chart. The first one is what we call a momentum style entry, guys. And the momentum style entry relies on two things, and I'm going to bring this up. It relies on the large chart being on the strong side of the triggers with absolutely nothing in the way. And then it is mandatory that your small chart also has the traditional strong trigger look. Smalls above the large, space between, or smalls below the large, space between. So we go back to the traditional strong trigger look, the momentum look, in order to take a momentum style entry. And your momentum style entries mean that your price bars have broken through perhaps an area that is behaving as resistance, and it becomes support. So when the market pulls back with strong triggers, absolutely, it is one comment above you, Dima, but I'll drop it right below you as well. These momentum style entries are dependent on strong triggers. Does everybody in the room understand strong triggers? Whether it is NinjaTrader or whether it is TradingView, it is a separation between the small and large. No, that's the TV KISS plan, Dima. Oh, sorry, I did do that. The one that's higher. So the new one, Dima, just above you, there's the TradingView KISS plan. Thank you for that. I dropped the wrong one. Good looking out for me there. Guys, strong triggers is a separation between the small and large. It's a separation between the small and large. So when you have those strong triggers, when the large chart is on the strong side of the small triggers, we're going to take that quick little blip, that little snapback right to the area. And this is the only trade that you're going to wait with a limit order. It's not like traditional Renko. We're not buying a pullback and just getting it at the area for a trend trade, guys. This is a momentum style entry. This is the only entry that you'll use a limit order on. When momentum trades fail, and they do, you'll see the small triggers turn against you. And once the small triggers turn against you, you're going to adjust your entry plan. Audio staccato, Paul? I like that you use the word staccato. Guys, I'm going to do a quick reboot. I'll be right back. It will not drop anybody out of the room. I will be right back. This happens now and then, and it tends to happen right in the very beginning. So let me end that. Let me open this. Let me get back to it. Almost back, guys. Nobody panic. Nobody panic. Here we go. All right. Can everybody hear me okay? All right. Awesome. So, Tremper, Steve, what is the green zone? So, on your TradingView charts, guys, you're going to be familiar, if you're familiar with the Renko bars, you're going to see termination, you're going to see divergence highs, divergence lows, you're going to see yellow and pink 1-to-1s, you'll see a mid band. There's a couple things that are just a little bit different, guys. These zones come from a company called Chart Prime. There are free versions if you don't want to pay the $67 a month, but if this is going to be your career, that's a small investment. And these will behave very much like you're accustomed to fibs behaving. So Steve, these zones are supply and demand zones. On the large chart, they'll help call turning points, termination conditions. On your small chart, they'll help us as something to trade from in a momentum style entry and also in a trend trade entry. Does that make sense? TradingView doesn't have fibs. So supply and demand zones come in and they kind of do that. Awesome. Oh, no worries, Derek. Have a great day. If you trade today and you need feedback, send them to me privately, please. I'll make sure you get the feedback. Guys, can everyone hear me? Guys, if you get to the point to where you can't hear me, please do me a favor, let me know. A lot of times you'll need to reboot Discord the same way I just did. So when we talk about large chart room to targets, we're talking about all of these horizontal lines. Whether it is a divergence high, whether it is a mid-band, whether it is a zone, whether it is a one-to-one, even this VWAP, this is new to a lot of you, the volume weighted average price, this thing can stop a market cold. So every time we gauge distance, these are what we're looking for. The second entry, when your small triggers turn against you. So I'm excited, I'm looking for a trade, I'm thinking about taking a momentum trade, but there is no separation in my triggers. My small triggers turn down. Guys, you have to absolutely rethink your entry at that moment, and you have to say to yourself, because the small triggers turn down, I refuse to fight that immediate momentum. You're going to wait for a pullback to a mid-band. You're going to wait for a pullback to a zone, to a one-to-one. It has to be an area. There has to be something to create that bounce. And then your entry will be an up bar in a long trade that finishes above the small triggers. You need at least 2 corners above those small triggers. And this is going to be your patience piece. This is going to be your I'm not going to jump in. I see the area, but I'm not going to jump in. And guys, this is going to keep you out of a lot of fights. This is the 1 minute chart, David. This is your entry chart. You're welcome. So we are going to use 15 minutes to pick our direction. Whoops, excuse me. We're going to use 15 minutes to know how assertively we need to manage. We're going to use 15 minutes to pick longer targets and to make sure that we have room to those targets. Your 1 minute will define entry. You'll either take a momentum style entry or you will take a trend trade entry. Guys, the trend trade style entry is going to happen more than any other entry. And then we're going to have a checklist for entry, guys. And this is one of the things that I think is so important. And this is where a lot of the patience comes in. So as the day progresses, if these rules aren't met, if I can't verify that the 15 minute is not trading directly into one-to-ones, divergence, highs, lows, or zones, well then I can't take a trend trade because I can't mark yes. If it's a yes, the 1 minute cannot be trading directly into 3 divergences. It cannot be trading directly into an area. Room to targets is a big part of it, guys. And our first target today will always be $200. If there is not $200 worth of distance to that target, we will not enter the trade. NASDAQ all day, Victor. The patterns are the same, no matter what market you're trading. And then if these first 2 rules are met, guys, we will buy or sell a close on the correct side of the small triggers at the 1 minute mid-bander area. And it's going to look exactly like this. Our area is the mid-band. We're going to let price get there because the small triggers rolled. And it will be the close below the small triggers that gets us into the market. Stops will be placed above the pivot. And if we are holding for the bigger move, new stops will be placed behind each pivot created on the way. Go in the other direction. Dun, dun, dun. Your long entries will look like this. As soon as the small triggers roll, it's imperative that the market pulls back to an area and it will be a close on the correct side of the triggers. So That's your trend trade entry, guys. I won't be getting in at areas. And if you are trading the prop firm, one of the biggest challenges that I see a lot of people doing is taking their Rinko mentality to these minute bars and trying to enter right at the area. It is difficult to win a fight against these small triggers. And then the second trade we will be taking is the momentum trade. So once again, no terminations on the large chart. Guys, we are embracing room to targets. We are not taking chances, hoping stuff breaks. We're not using the language, it should, it will, it has to. 15 strong side of the triggers, and the 1 minute must also have strong triggers. And then it'll be any pullback to an HVA line or area for entry. So your momentum long entries will look very much like this. Strong side of the triggers, nothing in the way. The market will break the area behaving as resistance, and as it snaps back with strong triggers, we will enter with a limit order with a stop just below the zone and head off to the targets. You're gonna make me do math? Yeah, that's 4 ticks. So that's the NASDAQ. Does the NASDAQ have quarters like that? Maybe it does. It does. So 4 quarters make a whole, Victor. English lit major, brother. You could have just put from 25 to 25. Is that 4 ticks? It is, absolutely. Does what look right? So, Robert, does what look right? Do your charts look right? I'm confused. Yeah, you look like you're good. You look like you have every indicator you need there. Absolutely. Sorry, I had to incomplete question. Had to make sure that I had the right answer for you. And then, guys, here's your momentum short entry. I wanted to show examples of these, right? Small triggers are on the strong side. Small triggers down, strong side of the small triggers. Strong triggers, pull back to the area. Stop is above the zone. Once you get a rules-based entry, they may turn. Then they come back down to 15 minutes, reverse while you're waiting on the 1 minute pullback. Does that cancel the trade? So, TB, if you're waiting for a short and these suddenly go up on you, are shorts off the table? Absolutely. Because that was 30 minutes worth of change. These triggers don't roll in a single bar. These triggers roll like over the course of 30 minutes. So yeah, if I were looking for a long trade and these rolled against me, it would take at least 2 bars to make that happen. I would absolutely cancel that trade. Something has changed. Good question. Gary, reload your charts. If you don't match me, reload your charts. Here, I'll do the same thing. Click on your charts, hit F5. I'm going to do a full rerun on this one. So it could be me. As they come up, I've got a zone here. Am I still calculating? I'm still calculating. As many as the rules are met, Caleb. As many times as your rules are met, enter the market. I think you guys that put limits on how many trades you'll take, right? I'll only take 3 trades. That's cool. But what if the 3 trades are losers and the next trade fits the rules, right? What if the 3 trades don't give you what you need? Gary, is that... It looks like that fixed it. It looks like we're in the same area. No, you only have 1 zone. So Gary, click and right click. So Caleb, what we're going to do today is as many times as I can mark yes to all 3 things on this checklist, that's how many trades I should take in a day. What you'll find, Caleb, is that the average trader, the average person, most of you in this room, will take about 6 times more. About 6 times more than the rules are met. You will fudge. You will form an opinion. You will get jumpy. You have a zone. I don't have a zone. Watch this. I'll close TradingView. Here's the nice thing about TradingView is I can close it and rebuild it and refresh everything. And I don't want paper trading. And I don't seem to have the zone there. Maybe it's a tick data issue. I'm not sure. This is Nexgen Pro Trader funding. What data are you using? Does everybody have that zone except me? Does everybody have the zone except me? Jerry has no zone. You don't have any zones. Okay. No zone there. All right. So you may just have an extra zone, Dima. So let's do a large chart read right now. Special zones for you. Does everybody see that the small triggers are up? Gary, if you need tech help, please go to tech. Guys, I'm gonna default you over to Jason today on tech. So let's do some practice reads. Small triggers up or down, my friends. What do you say? Up. So we're only looking for long trades according to the plan. And now there are three positions that the market can be. It can be the strong side, best of the best. It can be the transition, or it can be the weak. Guys, most current price, position 2, transition. Good job, Victor. What does that mean to me? The transition, all I'm going to think is that I'm going to be aware of 1 minute areas. I'm going to be ready to manage. On my particular chart, do I have room to trouble on my large chart? What do you guys say? So it's up, it's transition, and it's room to trouble. Let's go see if we have an entry. On my small chart, small triggers have turned against me. Are you guys with me on this? Because the small triggers have turned against me on the small chart, I'm not entering right at the area. This is my next area as the market comes down. The rules say, Mark, don't jump in at a mid-band. Guys, lose that Rinko mentality. In order to take a long trade, I need to close on the correct side of the small triggers. Is everybody with me on that? And until that happens, I don't have anything to do. Now this is where you guys are going to get bored with the classroom, because you're going to say to yourself, Mark, this is ridiculous. How am I ever going to make money if I have to be this patient? How am I ever going to get into the market if I have to wait for a stupid close on the correct side? This plan, my friends, is designed to optimize your chances of success. This is a stepping stone. This is the best of the best. This is getting you comfortable, calm, patient, learning to read your indicators, learning to give you the highest chance of success as you learn to use the software, as you learn to use these indicators. And I can't tell you how many times you guys are gonna, you know who you are if you're in the room. I can't tell you how many times people that have made the switch from Rinko bars to TradingView get in at the mid-band because they believe the mid-band is a magical spot for trend trades. Guys, as soon as these triggers turn against you, we're waiting for a close. And if you jumped in at the mid-band, you just got run over. Does everybody see it? Because this is like the greatest lesson you're going to get as you use these indicators. Getting run over by the small triggers is an avoidable thing. And it's probably one of the biggest losers I see. One of the other losers, I want to talk about this because I watch the the funding company all day long. One of the other things that I see is right here, and let me make this huge. Right here, people say, but the triggers are strong. I should be going long. And guys, you are in a zone. You are in an area. You have absolutely nowhere to go from this position. And if I had a nickel for every person I had seen enter on that high tick, believing that zone had to break and getting run over as that zone holds, I would have a lot of nickels and I wouldn't be sitting in front of you right now. If you draw a fib for that zone, it should show it bounce. I'm not sure what that means, Robert. Why draw a fib? Why add things in? I had no room on my 1 minute chart, right? All right, so we're learning how to kiss the new girlfriend, guys. The old one broke up with us. Here's kind of a cool thing. When we got to the mid-band, let me blow it up. Give me a Y in the room, please. If you see that that bar, 1, 2 corners on this up bar closed above the small triggers. Do you see it? Ladies and gentlemen, that was a rules-based trade, wasn't it? We called it. We didn't fight it. And if any of you got it, holy smokes, you just got blown up on the open. Your day is done. Go play golf. Did anybody catch it? It fit the rules 100%. Why did it fit the rules? What a great way to start this class. Dang it, I wish we were trading already. So let's do the whole read, guys, and I want to make sure that everybody's on board because this is one of the entries we're going to look for. So you guys already told me that the triggers were up. You told me that they were in transition, and you told me that I had room to targets. This is your basic large chart read. Is everybody good with that? Guys, if you're not, we can take as long as we need to make sure you guys are comfortable before we start actively trading. And now I'm going to go through the whole thing. Because the smalls rolled, I have to wait for a pullback to an area. And that sounds familiar, right? To an area, pullback to an area, and a close on the correct side of triggers. I put that right over it. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this was your close on the correct side of the triggers. You took it. You only got $400, but you're done for the day, Pibbies. Nicely done. And guys, here's the great thing. That's it. That would have been your whole day. What's your big target? 23,705. The yellow 1-to-1s on the large chart, that's your long-term target. The entry was 23,640. Jerry, you got it for $2,300? Guys, I'm not even going to bother trading. You guys already made your money. So, one of the things that when I talk to people privately, I always stress, I'm not a salesman, guys. I'm not a salesman. If you can't see through watching the class that the software works, then I'm not sure how I can help you. I am an educator. I teach you to keep things simple. I teach you to keep things focused. I give you a very rigid plan as a brand new user so that you can find success with John Novak's amazing indicators. So that's all we're going to do today, guys. I'm going to take about 3 minutes, and when I'm done with the 3 minutes, we're going to get into that live trading. And here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to slide this one over here. I'm going to have my checklist in front of me all day long. Gonna have my checklist in front of me all day long. If the rules are met, we will enter, and just so you guys can see, I'm in my Nexgen Pro Trading funded account, right? I'm trying to beat an evaluation right now with it. We're going to do that. First target will always be $200. Second target will always be the large target on the large chart. If something changes on my small chart, we will exit the position and we will wait for the next trade. Guys, go refill your coffees, go get a soda, toast a bagel. We're going to meet back here in 5 minutes, and we're just going to watch the market, and I'm going to talk incessantly about everything I see. Victor, it's $5 a tick. And Andy Man posted in there, and I love that. Pibby said, I only got $400. Pibbies, what a great problem to have, right? Because $400 a day, ladies and gentlemen, is a 6-figure income. And if you have been to the site, you can get a copier. You can take that same $400, copy it on 5 accounts, and turn it into a $2,000 day, which is about $500,000 a year. So it's not more trades, it's better trades. Better trades with a higher probability of winning. All right. First profit target is 40 ticks. 40 ticks is 8 points, Victor. So if we're in at 700, we have to be able to get to 708 in order to take the trade. Make sense? No. We have to get to, see, golly math, 720. No, 710. $20 a point. Goodness, guys, I'm a much better chart reader than I am mathematician. So Victor, you're in charge of my math. I'll teach you guys how to read indicators. I'll be back in about 3 minutes, guys. Oh, and just a little heads up, for those of you that are doing the automated system, you are currently in a short position. You have taken profits on 3 contracts, and your trailing stop is right behind a market that seems like it wants to go down. Whoop, just got you out. Pretty cool, right? Taking all the worries of defining your entry out of the equation. I'll see you guys in 5 minutes. I know you guys want to trade. All right, here we go. So I encourage you guys, ask a million questions during the classroom. No questions are off limits, but keep it to TradingView, please. I'm going to show you a trick that I use, guys, when I'm deciding whether I'm on the good side or the bad side of things. Does everybody see these yellow 1-to-1s? One of the tricks that I'll use to keep me from trading directly into them is I'll take the trend line and I'll draw that trend line and I'll put it right on those yellow 1-to-1s. And what it tells me is that I'm not going to take an entry from below. You're welcome, Gary. I'm not going to take an entry from below that green line, because if I do, I'm trading directly into 1-to-1s. Does that make sense, everybody? So the only way I would be looking to go long from the strong side of triggers with nothing in the way would be if this bar closes above the triggers. Does that make sense, everybody? Now here's one of the things that happens off of the open. And let me make this big on the small chart. And I want you guys to see this because smart traders manage risk before they manage profits. If this bar closed at 7:30 and your stop belongs, and we'll just say below the zone, it really belongs below the pivot at 690. Victor, what is 40 points worth of risk on the NASDAQ? It's $800 a contract. It's 20 bucks a point, guys. 40 points worth of risk is, am I doing it wrong? 20 bucks a point. 4 quarters in a point, $20. From 90 to 30 is 40. 800, thank you. It's $20 a point, sword trader. Each tick, so for the NASDAQ, so you guys know, a tick is $5. A point is 20. There are 4 ticks in 1 point on the NASDAQ. So 40 points is $800 worth of risk per contract. That's a lot of risk. You have to be willing to accept that risk. Me personally, with small triggers below the large triggers in a market that just spiked, that's a tough pill to swallow. Does that make sense, everybody? So another thing that we'll do is we're going to make sure that we don't have ridiculous risk. I'm not going to risk $1,600 on a trade that is already beyond all of my points and zones. And no, I mean, so TB, you could go to micros, right? And you could say it's less money. And you could build the habit of astronomical risk being okay. And then when you go to the live ones, it's still $1,600 worth of risk, isn't it? So practicing like you want to play. Guys, they are dancing right at yellow 1-to-1s, right? No room. They're back below that green line. I don't have anything pushing it. There are times when there's nothing to do, guys. And if it runs up because it's not the perfect trade, it's not the perfect trade. We're above trouble. This was your close on the correct side. At 1875, your stop would have been 86. That's a lot. An up bar here, you could go behind the zone. But guys, we're going to let this market open up. My plan was to let it go for 10 or 15 minutes. Let it settle down. Answer any questions you guys have. And then we'll watch it. Can everybody see the screen clearly? Everybody's good? Hopefully today's not just a strong trending market. I'm really rooting for a lot of ups and downs. Let's talk about outer bands. So we'll turn lessons into it as well. Guys, when you are outside of the outer band, it's only long trades. Obviously the small triggers say the same thing. Short trades from above the outer band. What would that amount of risk knock you out of your AB account? What's AB? Help me out, Claire. Maybe you have too many, Victor. It wouldn't knock me out of my account. It depends on the size of your account, though. So that's a good question. So if you look at the evaluation accounts, no, let me find it real quick. Gonna find it. So if your daily loss limit is $1,300, Claire, and you lost that account at $800 risk per contract, yeah, that would blow out your account in one day. On a $75,000 account, it would almost blow it out in one trade. On a $100,000 account, it would eat up more than half of your daily drawdown. Thank you for saying that. Does that make sense, guys? It would destroy a $25,000 account on a single contract. So guys, you've got to take that. You've got to take that. If it closes in between small triggers, Pete, is that considered a close above? That's a good question. That is a good question. So, Pete, did he make it through the wall? The answer is no, guys. If it closes inside of the triggers, it is not a close above the triggers. So if it closes inside of the triggers, it's not above. And guys, look at how it's dancing right at the area. We knew about the area. We had a green line. We didn't have anything to push it up. These are the trades when you feel like you're missing something, when you feel like you didn't get your entry, when you feel like you didn't make. Well, Pete, no. Good question. So, Pete, let's do the read. Small triggers are up, right? Is everybody with me? Price is currently trading in the transition. I don't have anywhere to go, Pete. Those one-to-ones have already stopped the market twice. They stopped it there. They stopped it there. Everything is below it. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? So because I don't have anywhere to go, I'm not worried about that other chart. We're coming back inside of the outer band, ladies and gentlemen. The outer band can behave as resistance. Guys, we're in a holding pattern. We're going to wait and see what the market does. We're going to wait for a better shot. We're going to wait for a shot. You're going to get tired of hearing this. That fits the rules. 15-minute not trading directly into one-to-ones, divergence, highs, lows, or zones. Let's take a picture of both checklists. So that's a no. Dang it. 1 minute not trading directly into, that's a no. And here's the cool thing. I don't have momentum up. I can't take a momentum style trade. Maybe not another 15 minutes, TV. We'll see what it does, right? We'll see what it does. But what you're going to find, guys, is that it's okay to not be active for 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes at a time. That's just a part of trading. I sat down with a buddy of mine. He came over after class, and we just watched the NASDAQ together. About 4 hours, I think. And I believe there were 4 rules met trades in that 4-hour span. Sometimes it's an hour. Give me a Y if you see that this has nowhere to go with a close on the correct side of the triggers. Guys, this is what we're going to do today. Today is focused on entries with the highest chance of success. My rules say don't trade directly into a zone. Don't trade directly into one-to-ones on the 1 minute chart. So no matter what the market does next, guys, I've got to sit on my hands and I've got to do nothing. That's what my plan says. So a lot of today is going to be, do you guys see how you can't take this trade? Do you see how this trade doesn't fit the rules? And when the rules are met, guys, we won't hesitate. We will pull the trigger. But there will be a lot of times where I say, do you see how you just avoided a loser? Do you see how the market went down with all that momentum? Do you see how the market went down trading directly into the area? I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you are in the Nexgen Pro Trader funding, if you are in an evaluation, The very simple concepts, the very simple concepts that I'm talking about right now are going to create a level of patience that's going to change your trading. It's going to change the whole dynamic of how you approach entering the market. And that's what I really want to focus on today, are the entries. David W., this is helpful already. You would have taken that last trade before. And David W., you're an outstanding trader. And we're just taking little tweaks to make you a little bit better, right? Guys, look what it's doing from that termination condition. Look what it did with no room. I love this stuff, guys. Having that freedom to not feel compelled to enter the market, having that freedom to believe that you don't have to take every trade, having that freedom to not feel pressured to be into the market when it's not your trade. I shared this in the room earlier, guys, and this is better than flowers and candy. This was my buddy that we sat with for a couple hours, and that was his day yesterday. And that's the patience, and all it is entry rules. Andy, what direction are the large triggers going? They're just now pinching, right? But it's indecisive. So the smalls are flat, but they are starting to roll down. I need them to pinch. But if they do, there's a VWAP, there's a midband, there's a zone, and there's a lot of stuff in the way right here. So we're directly into trouble, and they're just kind of flat. Guys, how long is the NASDAQ open? From 9:30 until 5 Eastern. So 7.5 hours. 7.5 hours is, 7.5 hours. I want to do some math. Victor, I'm not even going to risk it anymore. So 7.5 times 60 minutes is 450 minutes. And I'm going to divide that. No, what is 10% of 450? You might be active 45 minutes. You might be active 45 minutes. Maybe. So Steve asks, what size is that right chart? I don't use TV. So Steve, it is 15 minute for the large chart. It is 1 minute for the small chart. Guys, your small triggers have rolled. You are on the strong side of the small triggers, but I have a brick wall in the form of a zone and a midband. Does everybody see it? No short trades yet. Pete asks, so you would wait until it cleared all that on the 15-minute chart before taking a short? Absolutely I would, Pete. The same way it had to clear up here before taking a long, and look what that did for me. Pretty cool. But Pete, I'm going to go back to this disclaimer. And I'm going to go back to it a lot today, guys. This plan is a stepping stone in your learning journey. This plan is designed to optimize your chances of success using a very basic approach with the T3 indicators. It'll be through simulation, study, class feedback, and continuous practice. You will write a plan that suits your needs. So Pete, just because I refuse to short in here per the plan doesn't mean you guys won't find a way to do it. Does that make sense, everybody? Today is about the best entries. And I'm not even going to discuss the other entries. I'm not going to talk about HVA trades, guys. I'm not going to talk about using that as a momentum trade from the termination condition. But I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of money to be made. Right now, we're just chasing the best, the absolute best, the absolute highest probability. How are we feeling so far? One $2,300 winner for Jerry. Rules were met. And a couple avoided losses with some patience. Pretty cool, isn't it? Guys, I'm telling you right now, Trading doesn't have to be difficult once you accept that every tick isn't your tick. Once you accept that you don't have to be in the market for all 7.5 hours to make money, you're okay. And here's what happens. And guys, I'm going to talk a little psychology too. The market spiked, didn't it? It went down and nobody in the room got paid if they're following the plan. Here's the challenge. Here's the challenge. Most of you will take the short directly into trouble because you feel the market owes you something. Well, I didn't get paid on the way down. It sure did go down fast. That has to break. I have to take that trade into the zone. I have to trade directly into that mid band. I have to trade directly into these zones, because if I don't, how am I ever going to make money? Does that identify with anybody? Is anyone going, oh my gosh, he's talking right to me? You ever go to church and you're sitting in the pulpit and you're like, I think the pastor knew that I was going to be here. This is my lesson. Guys, every mistake that you've ever made in trading, every mistake that you will ever make in trading, I've probably made it 1,000 times. And what I've done is I've learned how to work around it. I've learned how to find that patience, and I've got a plan. I've got a plan that's amazing. And Sword Trader, great question. So the zones on my chart are from a company called Chart Prime. John Novak and I did a lot of research, typing in supply and demand, and really checking every indicator that we could find. This was the best that we could find, guys. And it's not a free indicator. $67 a month for these zones. Jerry S., will you remind the class what you made on that one trade, trading long from a zone with the rules met? I believe Jerry made $2,300 on that trade. I sure hope you were live or in the funding company. Guys, remember, these are tools. And there's an investment that goes with tools. There's an investment that goes with tools. Now here's one of the kickers for you guys on TradingView. TradingView and Renko are different. And sometimes there will be a Renko bar chart that is not a TradingView. There will be a Renko trade that is not a TradingView. So, oh, I'm sorry. Let me get that for you, Chef. My bad. But they're different. And it's important that you guys realize that they're different. It's important that you guys realize, Pete, you're short. Cool. Let's see if those 1-to-1s stop the good time. What do you think? Whoa. There's a bounce. 1-to-1s to the tick at 572, guys. Did anybody see them? I'm rooting for you, brother. I'm rooting for you. I didn't have rules met. I didn't have a clear path. Therefore, I didn't have a trade. Doesn't mean it won't go down. And Pete, I am fingers and toes crossed for you that it does. But the very simple rules say that it's okay to wait, that it's all right to do nothing, that life won't stop if you're not in the market. I don't think it's a coincidence that it stopped to the tick on that pink 1-to-1. Somebody knows about these areas. Somebody knows about those pink 1-to-1s. Somebody knows about this zone. And guys, there was Fibonacci on your Renkos right there. We'll know in a moment, right, TB? I do this in class a lot. Guys, I appreciate that you're posting in the room your chart reads. We're not doing those today. Save them for tomorrow if you need feedback, please. Will those 1-to-1s break? Cannot predict right now. Cannot predict ever. but I can see them, and I know they're there, guys, and it's okay to let them break. Does that make sense? Is anyone starting to feel like we're missing out? Robert, I do that a lot. I think it's hilarious. You might as well just shake the 8-ball, guys. If you're trying to predict what the market is going to do, you're going to struggle. Because the market is controlled by men and women that aren't you. The market is controlled by people that can create trends, and the market is controlled by people that react at those areas, and the market is controlled by people that establish momentum and put that price on the good side of the triggers. You are not those people. And look at this. Not only did it bounce, now it's back above the zone. Dang it. The triggers are down. I just don't have anywhere to go yet. There's no place for me to trade. I don't have any room down. I can't fight up. Guys, my plan says, calm it, brother. Sit on your hands. Do nothing. Nothing is free. The chart you put there was so we could see why there were more zones on yours. Does it tell me why there's more zones on yours? Or are you just showing me that there's more zones on yours? I'm not sure why that's going on. Pete, are you still short? I hope you got a couple duckies out of it. Guys, I've never in my life told anybody how to trade. I've never in my life given trading advice. I have never in my life said this is what you have to do. But what I will do is help you learn to read your indicators. I'll help you learn to recognize advantages. I'll do everything in my power to help you recognize trouble so that you can make the choice not to trade into it. Guys, have you ever heard of a range? It's a big range, but they couldn't get above these 1-to-1s, and they couldn't get below these. So now we need to figure out how are we going to get an opportunity to capitalize. We're going to wait. We're going to wait for the advantage. And I'm going to say it again, stepping stone in your learning journey. They're very, very similar, Victor. The NASDAQ and the S&P are very similar. They tend to trend the same direction. They'll have different areas because of the volatility, but they tend to trade the exact same direction. Are there any questions, guys? Is anybody wondering what's that line? What's the current read? Strange VWAP? Because of the spikes, it'll look weird. Pete, when the market really spikes like that, it looks odd. Have you seen it at market open after the overnight? Sometimes it's absolutely nuts looking. It's like a giant, but it's like 80 points wide. Small triggers are down. I am the strong side of the small triggers. There's room to 601.50, but I've got odds favorable, momentum up. Directly into a VWAP. The challenge, 93.50. I've already hit terminations. I'm coming from a termination. Does anybody want to go short, hoping that they decided that termination that's reversing everything wasn't a real termination? Sometimes, guys, we're going to wait. You don't have to, right? Did you guys know that we've only been looking at the market for 20 minutes? Retired that pipe. We've only been looking at the market for 20 minutes. It feels like forever, doesn't it? Seems like hours, Chef. We have only been looking at a live market for 20 minutes, maybe 15. This is one of the biggest things that I wanted you guys to get out of today, is that you don't have to be in every move. And the next move is always coming, guys. I want to show you on, let me see real quick. Just for grins, I want you guys to look, and I'll use Rinko because it's easier to see. Since midnight, that's what the market has done. Since midnight, this is all the movement in the market that we're looking at. It is 10:04 a.m. We have 7 hours left. 7 hours left. Don't be in a hurry. Does anybody have questions? You're new to new to TradingView. Maybe you're curious about. Are those are all zones on the 1 minute? But David, check it out. From 12 to 24, there's over $200 worth of profit in that tiny little space. With the right entry, even with the tight zones, guys, there's plenty of room to make money. There really is. And it's not uncommon to see people post in this room where they enter the market. Maybe they take the long from the zone at 12. They're like, oh, I'm going to get in right here. And then they're out at 24. TV is foreign, so you're soaking it all in. I like it. You're used to TradeStation for time chart trading. Right on. So, Chef, the biggest thing is don't treat it like Rinko bars. It's a different set of rules. I think, and this is my own personal opinion, guys, and nobody is paying me for my opinion, so it's worth exactly what you paid for it. For me, having this timer over here that tells me when a bar closes has been one of the biggest improvements in my trading. Not fighting the small triggers and knowing exactly when that close comes has been a godsend in my personal trading, because you guys are great at reading charts. You're great at reading indicators. You love to say this area should hold, this area will hold, and that forces it to hold. And sometimes I look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I still have 50 seconds until I have to make a decision. And that, for me, is wonderful. Termination conditions doing great things, isn't it? My triggers are flat. Guys, when your triggers are flat, you don't have direction. You don't have up or down. Smart money is don't fight the small chart. Don't fight whatever the small chart's telling you. Does that make sense, you guys? If these are flat and lifeless, and this all says up, don't take a short because the zones are red, is what I tell myself. I know you see a red zone, Mark. I know you see a mid band. But everything is screaming up against you. Calm. I'm going to let you guys in on a secret real quick. Doing this live in front of you is not terrifying. Is not terrifying because I'm afraid of messing up my plan. It's terrifying because you guys think I don't know what I'm doing if I'm not constantly in the market making money. But that's not true. And Boaz, yeah, check it out. Do you guys want this, NinjaTrader users? Do you want this workspace? It's coming up right now, Boaz. This is John Novak's lookalike. Give me 1 second. I'll drop it in a zip file for you. Where did it go? There it is. I'm going to compress it to a zip file. There you go. So if you're not on or if you're not on TradingView yet, guys, You can use the 15, right? You can do it. It's true, isn't it, Brian? 90%. And then here we go. We'll do it this way. There's Ninja. There's your 15 minute. There's your 1 minute. Small triggers are going up. Everything says up. No reason to take a short, right? TB, I almost always get a message when I do this. I thought you were kidding about the 90%. I thought you were just trying to convince us to stay still. And this, I agree with you. This is great. This is great for you guys that are learning the patience, because this is trading every day, and we convince ourselves that we're missing out. Thank you for posting that. Brian17, thought never crossed your mind. You have told us so many times, 90% we're waiting for the next trade. We are, right? We're waiting for the next trade. It's ours. It's coming. Small triggers are up. Barely, but they're starting to, right? I do have odds favorable momentum. So guys, if this market breaks above and pulls back and we still have momentum, we have the potential for a long trade. We'll see what happens. Right now, registered nurse, triggers up, price currently on strong side of triggers. We would have to wait for a minute chart bounce from a zone for entry. Victor, you posted exactly what I just said, right? But it's got to be this zone, not the one below, because that's trading directly into trouble. Does that make sense? So what do I want to see happen right now? In a perfect world, the market comes up and pulls back with strong triggers, and ladies and gentlemen, that will be your momentum style entry. Does that make sense, everybody? So we know exactly what has to happen. We know exactly where it has to happen. And if it does happen, we'll activate a limit order and try and catch that trade because it fits the rules. Every day you tilt, you should watch this video over again. Remind yourself not to take BS trades every 15 minutes. Pete, do you see up? It's a 15-minute chart, Pete. So these are up, right? If you're just starting to be pregnant, you're still pregnant. What's the challenge on the 1 minute, though? We haven't broken above a zone. And now my small triggers have turned. Now my small triggers have turned, or they're trying to turn. I don't have a break above and a pull back. I'm gonna be adamant that these things are right. Darn it, our zones are different. You have red supply demand area above the green area because it's still behaving as resistance. Where do you get the range market in red and green? Stephen F., when you say the range market, are you talking about these, the zones? I want to make sure that I answer your question correctly. From Chart Prime, it's a third-party indicator. They are $67 a month. And I see Ale next to your name. Supply and demand. It is supply and demand. Triggers up. Room to trouble. We're just waiting, guys. We're going to wait for our trade. Still haven't broken through the area. Still haven't broken through the area. Victor, show me a picture of your chart, please. Let's see what we can figure out. What does it mean to break an area, guys? It means to get above it and pull back to it as price dances. Right here, there's not a break yet. Victor, let's see your chart. And you're welcome, Stephen. Victor, you had 1-to-1s, but you did have a zone. You're above a zone. We look the same on the 1 minute. Your 15 minute looks different. So let's do this. Let me get rid of, boom, gone. And then we'll go to invite only, and we'll just put it back on and see what it does. Who knows? Maybe I'm missing out, Victor. So there's a reload of the indicators. And I'm still sitting one zone. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's a data thing. Area never broke, did it, guys? Flat triggers. Does anyone other than me just like start going, oh, when's the trade coming? It was so close. And then it didn't? How many of us can take it anyway? Well, I thought that it would. I thought that it should. I thought that it could. I thought that it might. I hoped that it would. Right? But it never got above the zone, guys. There is zero daylight underneath any bar trading in that zone. And then you get in the wrong one and you lose, right? Every time you bust an account, Chef. Me too. I've busted accounts. More than I care to mention. So, another avoidable loss. We've had one rules met trade. One in the last 45 minutes. And I do believe Jerry S. took it for $2,300. One rules-based trade so far. And how many losers have we avoided? Quite a few, right? I like this kind of trading too, Paul. It's hard on me because someone in this room went long anyway. And if it goes up, they're going to break their rules tomorrow. I haven't put my indicator back on. Let me see on another NASDAQ. Even my other NASDAQ on the paper trading isn't showing it. Here, let me put it on a different data source. And we'll see if it changes on a different data source. That is the same. So I'm consistent on two different data sources. I'm not sure. Trade what you have, guys. Trade what you have. Did anyone get jumpy? Guys, it may still go up here, right? But I don't have to be caught in a fight. Damn it, there it goes down. So now the small triggers are down. And I'm on the strong side of the small triggers. You guys see it? And I've got, in the moment, almost 70 points to get to a mid-band. So what's our trade if we get the rules met? Smalls are below the large. Large are opening. I need to break below and pull back with those strong triggers. I'm missing my VWAP. Thank you, Miss Jen. Guys, if you're missing your VWAP, inputs on the chart prime, scroll down, show VWAP. Miss Jen, I owe you one. That's trouble, isn't it? Didn't break the area yet. All right, so we're going to do a quick lesson while they figure things out. The bar couldn't break away, Couldn't break away. Didn't. Guys, give me a Y in the room if you see that this area was never broken, that all it ever did was hold. Does anybody feel like that's a no long scenario? It should. Now here's the other side. I couldn't go long. Look at this. Didn't, still didn't, hasn't yet. Now the mentality is going to be, because I didn't go long, I'm going to have to go short. Now we're breaking below it. Let me do some math. 33.49. I have 16 points. If I can get the break and the pullback, right? We still haven't gotten a bar below the zone, guys. We still haven't gotten a bar below the zone. Tickled and jiggled a lot, but didn't. Yep. Do you see how it didn't actually break away yet? Guys, get a bar to clear it. If you let a bar finish below and then it pulls back, it increases the odds so much. So Steve, on Chart Prime, Chart Prime Pro gives you everything that you need. And it's 20% off right now. Chart Prime Pro gives you all of those zones. I don't know that they say supply and demand, but that's what they are. So it's the Pro in Chart Prime. And look at that. Small triggers start to turn up. And look at the push. Guys, you are caught in a range. You are caught in a range. I hate ranges, but they happen sometimes. I didn't lose any money going long. I didn't lose any money going short. And if I get a close below the small triggers, I'm going to have virtually no room. What do you guys say we just watch a market tick around and try to figure out what it wants to do? Look what your Renko chart is right now. TradingView's not giving any entries. Guys, neither is Renko. Sometimes it's just not your money. Do these zones automatically change color? Nope, they automatically change. Tick around and find out. So Chef, they will change. They will recalculate. They will shift every now and then. When they recalculate, notice how that red line isn't there anymore. Used to have that big area. It's gone. But because my triggers are down, I'm not looking for a long trade. Because I have nowhere to go, I would have to take a close below the triggers, which isn't going to give me much room to get to a VWAP. Not that 200 that I'm looking for. And Jen, we've all lost money not waiting. If you say that you haven't lost money not waiting, you're probably lying. I sure did, Ollie. I'll do it again, though. There it is right there. Does everybody know where to extract that to? Yeah, and then just so you have it, there is your file path, Documents, NinjaTrader 8 Workspaces. That's your extraction point. Gary, it's just the 15 and 1 minute charts on NinjaTrader, that's all. And the timer, great question, Tony. So down here in the bottom right hand corner, there's a little wagon wheel. Hold on, guys, Pull back to resistance. We have 42 seconds for a close on the correct side of the triggers to give us room to the VWAP with down triggers from the strong side of triggers. Do you see it, everybody? We have 30 seconds, 29 seconds before we know. Tony, give us 1 second and then I'll go through it. We've got 18 seconds. Click your wagon wheel. Go to More Settings. Under Scales and Lines. It's the one that says Countdown to Bar Close. There you go. All right. We never got to close below. It closed above, guys. I don't know if it'll let me, Boaz, but I'll try. Never got to close below. Not my trade. I don't mind saying that. Not my trade. Not my money. Not my best look. Not the reason I'm going to get into the market. Not yet. I like it, TB. It's coming though, right? Next trade's always coming. Boaz, see if that works without the zip. 23 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. 17 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Pull back to the zone. Need a close on the correct side of the triggers. Have to have $200 worth of distance. I do not have $200 worth of distance. That doesn't look like it's going to work, Boaz. There was your close below, guys. It had $120 worth of distance to get to the VWAP. Therefore, I can't take it. There's not room. I'm too close to trouble. Your 15-minute chart shows price right on a supply and demand area. Yours does not. So far as you're concerned, nothing to see here. I like it. It made the VWAP, didn't it? 4 ticks off, 5 ticks off. It made it. But because in this room I want at least $200 on the first target, guys, I didn't have room to take the trade. Does that make sense, everybody? It is part of the Market Dynamics Pro. So when you load it in, it should be there. If it's not there, scroll down from inputs and you'll see show VWAP about 10 inches down. Now guys, it did go with the small chart, with the small triggers, right? It did go from the strong side. It did go from the close below the triggers. I didn't have enough room to manage it if something went wrong. And it's bouncing right off of that zone and right off of that VWAP, isn't it? And right off of that VWAP. Room to targets is a big deal, guys. Room to targets is a big deal. And it feels like there's none right now. I know that it feels like there's none. It feels like you're never going to get a trade. Like this is so messed up. I can't believe I'm even doing this. If there were separation, HVA is a great trade, but there's no separation. It's coming, isn't it? It's coming. It always is. Did everybody wish John Novak a happy birthday over in the other room? My big brother. There's the Renko read. I think it's cool to see, right? Your Renko chart says, don't you short. Don't you short. We're both pups. Yeah, we are. And guys, your zones. Oh, over in Traders Chat, Andy. Over in Traders Chat, you don't have to. He knows. He's getting it from everybody. I'm trying to find it. There we go. So there's Traders Chat over there. We got a couple of you guys doing it. I think it's pretty awesome. And there we go. It may go down. Big birthday wishes. You're welcome, Ollie. Hey, Jen, if you had to describe this bouncing between two zones with nowhere to go, is there a good word? I can hear Margot Robbie saying shenanigans right now. Shenanigans. Only a swear word. That's why I like you. Guys, we're going to get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. Pounding your gray matter. Whew. I told John when I wanted to do this room, and I wrote the little message to you guys. I led with 90% of your day is spent reading indicators. Wall Street traders call it balancing when they can't seem to figure out which way to go. When they can't quite get through that area that everybody knows about, that you can't quite get above that area that everybody knows about. In the tunnel, Keith, I like that. Glad it's me doing this. It's tough. Thank you, Jen. John, you're dating yourself, but the old days it was called a narrow sideways channel. That works too. You guys that haven't been in my room before, does everybody remember the 80s? Some of you may not. Consolidation, another good word. Guys, back in the 80s, you could take a couple quarters. Shadow picks, not today, brother. It's all NASDAQ today. It's all NASDAQ today. If you have a question about the ES, drop it in the other room. Maybe John will show up and help out a little bit. That's okay. We're not trading the ES. Carla, I think it is a huge advantage for TradingView. I think it's an amazing advantage for TradingView to have those supply and demand zones. Look at how effective they are. So until John Novak gets those fibs on there, guys, this is the greatest thing that I've found in lieu of fibs. And the market respects them because the market created them, guys. These are based off of historical. But look what it did, right? 1-to-1s hold and the area holds. And I really do feel like I'm missing some zones. Look at how they dance in the zone. So it looked at it, never seen such a fail. That's okay, Shadow Picks. We're staying singularly focused today. The area didn't break, did it? This is why I like room to targets. How do we change the background color when the small triggers on the 15 minutes cross? So David, on TradingView, I've pulled my large triggers off. I'll show you how I did it. So I'll go to my trigger line and go to settings. Dun, dun, dun. So under style, David, I've gotten rid of all my large trigger stuff from background color down. Anything large trigger I've unchecked to get rid of my large triggers, because David W., it's just too slow. I don't want those large triggers printing, and I don't want to see the background color personally, because I don't want to form an opinion on whether I should be going long or short based on a color. I want it to be 100% based on these small trigger lines. And this is a good example. It was still green, and it could have been amazing shorts, right? All the way down to the VWAP. It would stink to not be willing to get in until 58, when you could have started taking shorts up at 62 and really all the way up here at 64. So what you can do, David, is get rid of, whoops, wrong one, sorry. You can uncheck all of your large trigger lines, and then if you leave these two checked, you could really do any color you wanted. Some people like white, gray, dark gray, black. Some of you are super cool and want it to be more of a burgundy. I'm partial to green, but I don't like the way it sits on the chart, so I'm trying to keep mine pretty consistent. with that light color so that my indicators really pop off of it. But that'll get you squared away. Or if you wanted to, David, because I love simple, from the plan, the TradingView KISS plan, I did all the work for you and drop that NASDAQ in there right there. Guys, they can't figure out what they want to do. Look at these triggers. It's nuts, right? So I'm going to take 5 minutes because sometimes it's better to walk away than to fabricate. Sometimes it's better to stretch your legs than it is to say, you know what? We haven't had a trade since the open, which was only an hour ago. I'm going to sit on my hands. I'm going to wait for a second. I'm going to wait for the market to get out of this range. I'm going to wait for the market to blow through some doors and give me that better opportunity. And guys, right now the buyers and sellers are just fighting. You can see it in flat triggers. They're trying, but they can't. So I'm going to walk away for a second, guys. I'll leave the market up. If your rules are met, take a trade. If you have a question, post it in the room. I'll see you in 3 or 4 minutes. How crazy is that? Morgan, there's 80 people in here. That's amazing. And I'm thankful for each and every one of you 80. So, of you 80 people, how many of you are using Nexgen Pro Trader funding? Of you 80 people, how many of you are doing the evaluation? Or even better, how many of you have done the evaluation and failed? I've failed. I took one and failed. I've probably failed 4 or 5 of them, at least. And then I just started working on stuff. So Rich and Famous and Pete and Chef and everybody that's in it. What we're doing today, George T, is we're teaching you how to beat the evaluation. So I want you guys to think back. When I failed, was it because I was trading in determination conditions? When I failed, was I trying to take entries from the wrong side of the triggers? Give yourself some grace, Andy. I'm going to give it to you. Started and canceled? Samuel, why did you cancel? Small triggers are up, ladies and gentlemen. I'm on the strong side of the small triggers. Heard there was a free option. Yeah, John Novak was giving away $50,000 accounts. I'm not sure if he still is. You're waiting to blow out your Apex accounts to switch over? Morgan, it's funny that you said that because I've got an Apex account. I've got a funded Apex account, and I hate it. I hate it on TradingView. Hate it on TradingView. All right, guys, strong triggers. Room to trouble. So let's go through it. Small triggers up. Strong side of the small triggers. They do, Gary. Room to the outer band. Room to the one-to-ones. Strong triggers. If I get a pullback. Whoops. Dang it. There we go. If I get a pullback to the zone with strong triggers from the strong side of triggers, with room to trouble, and with room to make at least $200, ladies and gentlemen. Does everybody see? This is the potential setup for a momentum style trade. Give me a Y if it makes sense. Smalls are up, strong side of the small, room to trouble, odds favorable momentum. If I get a pullback, it gives me room back to small chart trouble. My stop will go just a little bit below. So on 2 contracts, it's about $200 worth of risk. About $190 per contract. What's going to kill that trade, ladies and gentlemen? If my small triggers turn against me. If my small triggers turn against me, I will be obligated to wait for a close on the correct side of the triggers. If they do not, it's a momentum trade. If they go without us and hit those one-to-ones, we have to rethink our lives and wait for the next opportunity. Does this make sense, guys? I don't think they're coming back for us. Those mother scratchers. But that's exactly how you'll set it up. And we'll see what happens. Chef, to be able to use the full function of TV, do I have to pay the monthly subscription and the market data subscription? If I need to do monthly, will the basic one do? Or do I need to upgrade? Or is this a tech question? Nope, I've got you. Give me 1 second, Chef. So TB, if we had gotten an entry at 61, we had 24 points to get to trouble, which is more than enough room to make money. Does that make sense? This is your big picture. These are bumps in the road. These are bumps in the road. So we would have had it on both. Yeah, but not now. You're absolutely right. We haven't broken yet. We'll see what happens. We'll watch it. So Chef, on TradingView, Products. Let me log out over here. Hold on. It's not letting me get to it because I'm logged in. So let me sign out here. There we go. Products, super charts. Son of a gun. Hold on. Here we go. Let's see if it goes down to it. TradingView subscriptions, prices, and features. There we go. You want premium, chef. That was an awful lot to get to you want premium. Premium is going to allow you to use market flow. Market flow is going to give you the ability to use those HVA lines for momentum trades, for turning. So TB, you've only ever traded TradingView. So you're loving it today. I love it. I grew up on NinjaTrader. So I had to go through and I had to learn all of this stuff over again. I had to learn all of this TradingView and unthink Rinko and all of that sort of stuff. So you have an advantage on me. I'll tell you what, guys, call out your read anytime you want, right? Guys, we didn't get a bar that broke above. This, for me, is a huge part of the momentum trade. When you don't get separation away from the zone, it's no different than over here when you don't get separation away from the zone. Does that make sense, everybody? And now our small triggers are turning, and let me show you exactly what we want. Come get me for the trend trade. That's what I'm hoping right now. Come get me for the trend trade. Small triggers are turning, haven't broken the zone. If I enter above those small triggers, guys, I have nowhere to run. I am wishing, hoping, and praying that they will retrace and give me room to get to that target. I don't know if they will. They might. We're going to find out, aren't we? You're thinking the same way as I am, Victor? Or you were thinking that a close above doesn't give you room? So that's only to 704. Watch this. Use that trend line, guys. It's magic. Does a close above the triggers give you any room to get to trouble? What do you think? Jixum, there we go. We reached trouble. I've done a lot. Are you wondering about like the basics? Like the basic functions of TradingView? This is one of my favorites. This is the TradingView knowledge base, where you can get like every answer. But here's my invitation to you. If you want to come to class tomorrow, we'll go through everything. We can go through scaling charts, and it's just the sides. We can go through how to do entries. We can go through anything that you want to go through. Let me see if I have a video that I've built. Short, long, momentum, no more shorts, replay, indicators, intro. Here is a TradingView how-to video that I built. I don't remember what's on it, to be honest with you. But that might be helpful. I believe that is scaling, entering, all of that sort of stuff in that video that I just dropped in the room. Guys, not room to targets. Got us again. Congratulations, Steve. Nice. Love it. From 50.75. That's a great looking long, right? So those arrows, great question. When you get a breakout bar and then the reversal bar, it produces that arrow. But Shannon, there is nothing in your plan that says you need it. It's part of the market flow. It's part of market flow. Jen, what I did is I drew a trend line on my 1-to-1s right here, so I knew how much room I had to trouble if I took an entry above the triggers at 700. That's all it is. Oh, the line going up. Sorry. Right here. So what that is under Dynamics Pro, and I usually turn this off. It's like a trend line. Liquidity trend lines. I believe it's called triangle right there. It's automatically turned on. I usually turn it off, but because I just reloaded the indicators, I didn't. There we go. You're welcome. Let's see what they do, guys. I'm not boring you. Am I boring you by not constantly being in the market? Gotta have room to targets, guys. And Steve, I'm glad that you said that you were long. And I'm glad that you got in. And I'm glad that you're finding a way. Because, guys, one of the things that I really want to stress is that this is the basics, guys. This is the most conservative, highest probability approach to using us. And everyone in this room with some experience will tell you, and John Novak will come in and show you, there are 1,000 other ways to make money with this software once you understand the basics. When you learn the basics, some of the things that you learn is that fighting those small triggers just because there's a zone doesn't always work out. That if price doesn't clear a zone yet, the price isn't cleared. And there's these little things that you get from the very basic approach that pay huge dividends 30, 60 days from now. Because you've gotten so good at the easy stuff, you start to see the other things beyond the very basic. And that's always been my approach to teaching. It's always been that you guys can find a way through basics to expand and write your own plan. You're waiting for a pullback to 88, and from 88 you would have room to get to 706. And it doesn't bother you at all, Victor, that these one-to-ones have already held over and over. You're going to look for a retest. That's okay. Small triggers are up. Strong side, right? And if it pulls back to this zone and we get a close on the correct side of the triggers, that fits the rules, doesn't it, Victor? As long as we have $200 worth of profit to get back to trouble on the large chart, it fits the rules, guys. One of the things about these 15-minute bars is they will test and bounce and test and bounce and test and bounce because it's 15 minutes. So we'll see what happens. Victor, personally, I'd love it from a little bit lower. I'd like a little more room to get back to that area, because by the time they get to the mid-band, we'll know whether or not they want to go back up with that close. And right now they're just dancing. Has anyone been in my room and heard the phrase, decisions are made at key areas? The men and women who control the market, it sure is, David. The men and women who control the market, they make decisions at key areas. What does that mean? That means that when price gets to these one-to-ones, there is a fleet of buyers and sellers. Buyers are taking profits. Sellers are trying to get in, right? And guys, there's a fight at these zones. There's a fight at that divergence high. There's a fight at these one-to-ones. You don't have to be a part of that fight. You just don't. Victor, you meant the area around 688, not exactly there. Yeah, a little bit lower. Oh yeah, I was looking at the number. I agree. A little bit lower gives you some room, right? Gives you time to get back to trouble. 2,000 to 3,000 at least, right? Jerry would have gone long on the 1 minute, bad at 10:46 as that bar went above the small triggers on the. Would have going long. Where are we looking at? Right here, Jerry? Can't fight Godzilla. Amen. Hey, David, thanks for being here. I appreciate you coming in. Would it have at 10:46? Would it have been... Okay, so let's talk about it, Jerry. I gotcha. I was looking for 10:46 price. So, Jerry, everything is up, right? And the large chart, let's do the full picture at 10:46 because this is important. Chart was up, right? Strong side of the triggers. Everything says up. So your close on the correct side of the triggers, Jerry, that's your 1-to-1s right there. That green line is your 1-to-1s. So, Jerry, do you want to take a trade? And this is you have to answer this question. Do you want to take a trade directly into 1-to-1s on the large chart? I can't because my rule says room to targets. And what sucks, Jerry, is sometimes they're going to go up anyway. Sometimes they're going to go up anyway. Sometimes they're going to go even though there's a roadblock in the way. So my rules weren't met. Jerry, you might have been willing to take a shot, hold your stop, and say with the strength, with the momentum, I'm willing to take that risk. So the question is, Jerry, and everyone in the room, and Jerry, what you just talked about is where everybody in the room is heading. There may be a point, guys, where you say, well, with these up, with these strong, with smalls above the large, with everything going up, I can justify the risk trading into the area, hoping that it breaks. Small triggers up, strong side of the small triggers. I mean, it's nothing but space above us on the large chart, guys. So if I get a pullback to a zone, if I get a pullback to an area, and I get a close on the correct side of the triggers, it's small chart targets. And if there's room, then giddy up. Jerry, you're taking a Rinko mentality because the triggers were strong when it held there, right? It was strong side of the small triggers. And it was strong side of the small triggers when that held. And it was strong side of the small triggers when this held. And it was strong side of the small triggers when that yellow or that pink 1-to-1 created a big ugly bounce. And it was strong side when that one created a bounce. So it's a Rinko mentality. And Jerry, you've been with us for so long. You know that strong triggers break areas. And on Rinko, I don't disagree at all. But on these minute charts, it's just a little bit different approach. Sorry, I didn't mean to beat that one into the ground. I do that sometimes. It's just a little different approach. There's so much that can happen inside of a 15-minute. Guys, we are cleared for takeoff from a pullback to this zone. We have strong trigger, smalls up. We are the strong side of smalls. We're above everything that could be problematic on the large chart. And if we get a pullback to an area, we're going to have more than enough room to take that trade up to small chart trouble. Is everybody with me on this? So the outer bands are exhaustion points, Victor. That's really the easiest way to think about them, is the outer bands are exhaustion points. See how it held? And see how it holds. So once you get outside of those outer bands, that market's trending pretty strong. Once you get back inside of those outer bands, that outer band is likely to behave as resistance. There's your outer band. 1-to-1s are just below it. So if you're looking for a long trade, if you're looking to go up with the strong side of those triggers, you really want your entry coming off of above that outer band than below it. Good question, Victor. And the general consensus is when you're outside of that outer band, absolutely no short trades because you are in a strong trending look. Here comes our pullback. Small triggers are down. There's our zones. The green dotted line, guys, this is 2 levels that if price gets back below it, I can't trade directly into it because I will no longer have room to targets. Is everybody with me on that? This says up, this says strong, this is above everything. Small triggers roll. I don't have a zone until down here, so I would have to reach the zone and close on the correct side of the triggers and hope that I'm above trouble to continue up. This 15-minute bar, if it gets back below trouble, it could finish all the way down here at the mid-band. So green dashes, 2 of them. Where are they from? Yellow 1-to-1s on the large chart, outer band on the large chart. I don't want to trade directly into either, Paul. Both have the ability to stop the market. I know it's a pain in the butt, guys. I know it's a pain in the butt waiting for these trades. Work through it. It's killing me. It is killing me. Let's just see what it does. Let's watch. All we're going to do is we're going to keep talking rules, guys. Small triggers say up. I am on the strong side of the small triggers. If I pull back to my zone, I'm below the outer band. I'm below the 1-to-1s, right? If I close above the triggers, I've got 6 points to get back to trouble and an HVA with strong triggers down. I told my brother this morning, I was like, I sure hope the market gives me something today. I'm going to be upset if I sit in front of the market for 3 hours with you guys and there's no trades. And that's what your brain starts thinking about an hour in. Oh, I can't believe there's not a trade yet. I can't believe the market hasn't given me something. I can't believe I haven't made money. Well, some of you have because you caught the one off the open. Not everybody caught it because you're learning how to be patient right now. Still haven't closed on the correct side of those triggers. Do you guys see that? Closed inside of them. Didn't close above them. And the market is still pushing down, ladies and gentlemen. I love patience. What about the magenta yellow 1-to-1s on the 1 minute? That is an area that could stop the market, right? No, Paul? We would want to trade to them. That would be our first sign of trouble. My zone is below the outer band, guys. My zone that I need to pull back to is probably going to end up below the 1-to-1s. You guys see these tails where they tried to push up and couldn't? You don't see those in the moment. Those take a while. Look how the market tried to break below and everybody thought we were going short, and then the bar finishes up above all of the trouble, and they push down to trouble again, and they finish above trouble. Guys, this is one of those things where you have to be very aware of where you're entering. So I'm going to be patient. I'm below the outer band now. That is not my best look. And with those small triggers down, it's still pushing down. And now I'm below the yellow 1-to-1s. And with those small triggers down, it just closed below. Now, I'm going to let you guys in. This is not on the plan that we're trading today. There is what we call an HVA trade that is in the plan from the website that says when you reach a termination on the large chart, when the small triggers get below the large triggers, you can sell a pullback to an HVA to take a shot at catching the top. Does that make sense, everybody? This is an HVA trade that Nexgen has been teaching for 20 years. It's on the plan. It is on the plan in the funding company. It is on the plan in the instructions there. Where's that plan? Why am I not introducing it today, guys? Because in order to take an HVA trade, you have to fight the small triggers on the large chart. I'm looking for a close on the correct side of the triggers to trade with the triggers from above the 1-to-1s. Does that make sense, everybody? 706.50 are my 1-to-1s. If I'm going to trade with everything, now we're back below again. Can't trade directly into it. Look at those small triggers pushing down. Look at that odds favorable momentum pushing down. Just to confirm, once the smalls are up and price is on the strong side to enter. Pete, are we talking about the large chart? On the small chart, two types of entries, Pete. I love it. Great question. On the pullback, we wait for the correct side of the small triggers. Still haven't gotten it. Do you see that, everybody? And I've got 42 seconds to think about it. Triggers up. Should we draw our trend line? If I'm going to take a shot, I have to take it above those 1-to-1s with all this momentum. I have 30 seconds to think about it. I have 30 seconds to think about it. But guys, does it fit the rules? Smalls up, strong side, above trouble, pull back to the zone that we circled 15 minutes ago. There are still 9 seconds, and the market is back below the 1-to-1s. The market is back below the 1-to-1s, which means I don't have any room up, which means no close above, still not rules met. Nope, they don't need to cross, Pete. Close on the correct side of the triggers. Still haven't gotten it. Still haven't gotten a close on the correct side of the triggers. Language. Just no room, right, TB? He wasn't kidding about 90% of your day. He wasn't kidding about 90% of your day. 21 seconds until we know what's going on, guys. Look at it spike. Look at it spike. And Pete, you asked, do the smalls need to cross? It's not a rule, but you have a higher advantage if they start to roll up. And there's your close on the correct side of the triggers. Stops would have to go below. If you're in at 08, the first one would come off at 18. Second target, I don't know, where do we put it? How about up at trouble? Initial stops here, guys. If they come back below the small triggers, below the zone, probably not our trade. This HVA line is potential trouble. So now we're at the mercy of the market. Strong triggers, strong side of triggers, waited for the close. Guys, HVA is the first trouble. If we get a close below the small triggers off of that HVA, below the 1-to-1s, we'll probably exit this position because our advantage is no longer in play. Until that happens, we are in this trade. Does that make sense, everybody? Until that happens, we're committed. We're committed to the risk. We're committed to the target. We're committed to the second target. Small triggers are up. Trading with the large chart. Above trouble. I love this. Go, cat, go. Come on. Are there any questions about why we waited for the close on the correct side? Are there any questions about identifying trouble in the way? Are there any questions about what it is that we're doing right now? The only thing that will take us out of this trade, ladies and gentlemen, would be a close on the wrong side of those triggers. And if it doesn't happen, we're going to make some money. You could close it out right now and make 250, wait for the next trade. But what's changed? My smalls are getting above the large. I love that. We're above the HVA that could have been problematic. I love that. We're coming above the 1-to-1s. We're on the strong side of triggers. Guys, I can't find a damn thing wrong with this trade. Oh, we just hit our first profits. That's 200 in the bank. What do you say we go break even and see if they want to get us at the HVA? So, Gixim, when I say the right side of the triggers, the correct side of the triggers, let me finish this trade and then we'll talk about it. Are they going to get us? Are they going to take us to the promised land, guys? Could close it out here, call it a $500 trade, right? Or we can see if those triggers will push. We can see if being above everything is a good thing. I don't know. I'm not going to close it out. We've already made money. We have every advantage. Now I'm just going to relax, guys. I don't care what happens next. I already made money. So when we talk about the close on the correct side of the triggers, it's this look right here. So we don't even have to watch this one. We're done, right? Gixum, do you see how this up bar finishes above the small triggers that were down? That's your entry. That's your entry rule. So when I say the correct side of the triggers, I'm talking about the right side up. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Profit target reached. Ha! Could not have hoped for a better start. So here's the question. Here's the question. Does it do the thing where it shows you, where's the history that shows the money? I don't know. Daily P&L. So guys, ask me something. Is $685 worth the wait? That's what I want to know from you guys. Is $685 worth waiting an hour and 45 minutes? What's the hardest thing you'll ever do? Absolutely nothing while you wait for that trade. Oh, absolutely. Andy, I'm in my Nexgen Pro Trader funded account. I'm in my Nexgen Pro Trader funded account. Thank you, Miss Jen. Guys, it fit the rules, didn't it? Did anybody else take it? Did anybody else get in on a close on the correct side of the triggers? Or even more importantly, did anybody get run over at the area because they didn't wait for the close on the correct side of the triggers? Steve, you got me by 20 bucks. Nice job. Koki, you got it, 450. Trimper, you're in the micro, right on. Guys, did I do anything different than what I said I was going to do starting at 9 a.m.? Did I deviate? Did I fight triggers? Did I trade into areas? Did I enter early? No. This is day trading, ladies and gentlemen. This is day trading. And it made it to the 1-to-1s, and it made it to the HVA. And guys, anything that happens after isn't my money. My money's done right there. That's it. I'm cool with that. Let's find one more like it. Let's make $1,000 a day. drop the mic. And guys, is anybody in the funding company? If you're struggling, guess what? If you're struggling, yeah, I'm recording this one, Sword Trader. All right, so while we're waiting, TPI gave you 285. Oh, Profit Target 1 gave you 285. Profit Target 2 gave you 265 for 550. Great job, Victor. I'm going to show you guys. I made this. Oh no, where's it at? I made a spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet was labeled consistency. Maybe it's in TradingView. Oh my gosh, I may have lost it somehow. So I built a spreadsheet at some point. I have absolutely no idea where it went. And what it did is it broke down what you needed to make daily to get funded in your accounts in 5 days. Guys, if you're in a $50,000 account, you have to make like $250 or $300 a day to hit your profit target in 5 days, or maybe it's $500 a day. So in a $50,000 account, you already made it on a 2-lot. You already hit your daily goal. Pablo. Okay, so Pablo put no. Were you not in front? Did you not believe it? Did you have to go pee? And if you had to go pee, guys, that just wasn't your money. And look at it dance right at the HVA, right at trouble. You'll be starting your prop account next week. I'm excited. Guys, what I'm doing right now is I'm teaching you how to beat the hell. Oh, your large short had a zone right there. Had a zone right there. Trading into it, 16, 08, 20. I probably had a little room, Jerg, to get to it. Right now it's above it. Once we got a close above, we were above the 1-to-1s. I think we still had a little room to the outer bands. Maybe we were above them. It's hard to tell because they're moving. I don't think I broke rules. If I did, I apologize. Large short had a zone right above. Man, Pablo, if you had a zone right above, there's no trade for you there. And I'm not sure why we're getting two different instances between the two. Oh, Andy, you're not feeling well? I'm sorry. And right now we're above everything, guys, and they just gave us a new zone. We're just going to rinse and repeat. If it gives us to it, it gives us to us. You made 470 on that one. We're down to 71 people. 10 of you left. 10 of you aren't interested. Guys, I'm not telling you what to do or where to do it. I'm talking about the whys and how the patience pays dividends, and how when you take the time and you wait, good things tend to happen. So let's annotate a chart. And I like annotating it after the fact. So the smalls were up. I'm going to go back to the consistent language. Smalls were up. We were strong side of smalls. And I got you, Steven. And we were above trouble with room to trouble. Does everybody understand and agree with that, with the large chart read for what we did here? And then on our small chart, because the small triggers on the 1 minute rolled against us, we waited for a close on the correct side of those small triggers. Drop that in your spreadsheet, guys. That's your trend trade. how to take the trade by limits when you did to get in. So I didn't take the trade with a limit order. When it closed above, and see how it's on the second bar, not the bar that closed above. So this is the bar that closed above. Sword trader, because my job is to wait for that close, I mash the buy button right when it closes, which is why you see the entry on the next bar. And that may be the bit wonky that you're talking about. Does that make sense? Cool. And then Victor, could we have introduced another take profit area if we were trading 4 contracts? So how about this one? Let's do $200 secure your payment, right, Victor? And then second contract, or maybe 2 more contracts come off at trouble. And then you hold the next one for outer bands. You hold the next one for trouble and maybe a close at that trouble. So yeah, you could do it for sure. MASH is a very technical term, without a doubt. And look how the 1 minute trouble, when we're outside and everything is up, gives us an indication to be patient. Does that make sense? This all says up, strong side, clear. 1 minute says don't do it, and look at the reaction coming off of the 1 minute. And that's going to help you. Good morning, Cav. Ale, let's do this if we could. Let me take this off of that account and put it on paper trading just so it's still NASDAQ. And guys, I'm going to enter the market. This is not a trade. This is not a rules-based trade. There is nothing about this trade that fits the plan. All right, Ale. I'm going to take 4 contracts, and I'm just going to sell the market arbitrarily. And I'm going to put a stop loss hopefully far enough away that we can get the lesson in. So when my profit target, let's say I'm hoping to get to a mid band. And guys, again, all we're doing is we're learning how to do these. Left is 15, right is 1. So Ale, 4 contracts short. If I cut it in half to 2, I can put a limit order right where I'm hoping the market goes. So that buy limit will exit 2 contracts from my short position. And let's see if we can get it to hit it. So if it hits your target, you're now 2 contracts, 2 contracts, 2 contracts. And the one thing that you have to remember is if I have a limit order down here to take another partial and it hits my stop loss, I have to remember to cancel the open order. Does that help, Ale? So you're in 4, and then you'll activate limit orders with fewer contracts to take the partials. And I always take my target that's a part of the entry and make that my furthest target. Does that make sense, everybody? And then let's get back to the live market. Small triggers are up. Transition side. Absolutely I am, Carla. If we pull back to the area, ladies and gentlemen, like we did, if we got a close on the correct side of the triggers, could we enter the market understanding that 31 is our trouble spot? Well, not anymore because we're below the 1-to-1s. So Carla, what I'll do is if I'm in, and let's play hypothetical. So if I'm in a long trade right here, I may use this as my big target. If I'm in a long trade right here, I'm going to use this as my big target. I believe Jerry was in a long trade right here and exited right at those 1-to-1s. So if I have those trouble spots, absolutely, they become a target. When you are outside and there are no large short targets, outside of the outer bands, beyond the zones, no 1-to-1s, no fibs, you can use those 1-minute targets to help you get paid at trouble. Does that make sense? And then guys, Pete just said one thing he'll do is when price approaches the second profit target, he'll just slide up a trailing stop so that if it wants to run, awesome. But if it doesn't, he doesn't give it all back. Smalls are up. Transition side of the smalls. It's hard to trade and teach lessons at the same time. My wife always asks me, Mark, why don't you just trade your live account during class? Because it's hard to trade. All right, watch this, guys. You're inside the zone. Cav, we're doing chart reviews tomorrow, brother. Today is just live trading, one contract. You can post it in the education room. I'll come back and give feedback later on it, or in the traders chat. But I'm going to avoid distractions too much. So guys, give me a Y, please. If you see that you are inside of trouble, you are not above trouble. You are literally inside of trouble. And look what the market did. Freaking amazing, isn't it? Freaking amazing. What an avoidable loss. I can't thank you guys enough for being here today. Can't thank you enough for being here today. I don't know if you guys know this, but you guys make me a better trader when I get to teach you these very basic lessons. You guys have made me infinitely better by teaching these lessons. Nexgen has spent 30 years, guys, 30 years trying to help traders become successful. And the education room is no different. And our desire for you guys to do well in the funding company is no different. My hope is that you guys do so well. I don't know, how do you merge the two systems, Boaz? I guess you'd have to have rules met on two different systems. I don't have the mental capacity to trade Renko, and I don't have a plan to merge the two. Boaz, John Novak has been testing and working on a plan to do the two. So maybe we can get him one day to come in and teach a class. Guys, I'm teaching the most basic stuff I know how to teach. The most remedial 101 foundation building approach to trading these indicators. We've taken one trade this morning. That's it. One trade has fit the rules this morning. Welcome to day trading, guys. Plan on trading the auto? I love it, Jerry. I love it. So you don't have to worry about the entries, right? You could do a little management. John's going to talk a lot about that tomorrow as well. You use Ninja on one screen and indicators trade on the other. That works too, Keith. Do you have to make a ticket for what, Morgan? Get with your rep. Sent your machine ID. Was wondering if there was anything else we were supposed to know. That should be it. If they have your machine ID, they'll be able to get you squared away. Carla, no, the auto trading is not available on TradingView. Now, what you guys could do, true story, is you could have your auto system up. It is, Steve. You could have your auto system up. Whoops, I think I turned it off. Dun, dun, dun. Oops, wrong one. Dun, 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 dun. So you could have this running. I don't think my settings are right. My settings aren't right. Never mind. You could have this running. Steve, take care, man. I'll post the link in both rooms. And what you could do is if you get a signal, couldn't you just execute on TradingView and manage on TradingView? I did it the other day. I was practicing it, taking Auto Trader systems, but executing over here so that I could still use Nexgen Pro Trader funding. Something to think about, guys. Make sure you hit the correct buttons. I'm like a caffeinated weasel in a round room though, guys. I like less is more for me. So Ollie, today's not the feedback day. Today is the exception, not the rule. If you're just showing off, man, go show off in the other room for sure. If you have a question, type your question big and bold on your chart. And who knows, maybe John Novak will answer some of them. Or bring them back tomorrow. Bring them back tomorrow. Let me get that for you. I just sent John Novak a message. Gixam, hopefully we can get that little teaser in there for you. Boaz, no. Stop trying to change my plan. You could add another chart and do more. I don't need to. Right? My triggers are up. Does everybody see that my triggers are up? Boaz, there's a million ways to make money. There's a million ways to make money with the software. Today is about the easiest way. So if my triggers are up, guys, what direction is the only option for me on a trade? As a brand new user, following the most basic mechanical approach. My only option is up, guys. Whoops. How is that for taking all of the pressure off? There's nothing to do up anywhere. Not right now. Morgan, have a good one, man. There's just nothing to do. But the longer we sit in this room, ladies and gentlemen, the more you're going to say, but could we, but can we, but should we? Are we able to? Guys, you can do whatever you want. Whatever you want in the privacy of your own home. Can't sell the mid-band if on the correct side of the triggers. With the small triggers up, Jen, is that what you're asking? Mark, can I break the rules and go short even though that says up? Am I reading the question right? Or you're telling me that you can't? You're agreeing. Okay, never mind. I'm a man. I don't communicate well, Jen. Samuel, I appreciate that. Thank you for that. Samuel wrote, this is an amazing class. I love it. I'm blushing. And it's helped you tremendously, and that's my goal every day. And you are so welcome. Guys, the lessons don't have to be hard. Trading doesn't have to be difficult. It really can be nothing more than a couple simple steps to help you find the success. I've got one monitor. That's it. I've got 2 charts, and I've got 2 trades with 3 rules each. 8 to 12-hour shift jobs are bad. Yeah, they are. Jer, so the 2 subscriptions we need to make this work with Premium on TV and Pro on Chart Prime. Yes, sir. That is going to give you the best of the best, my friend. You'll need the Premium so that you can have market flow, so that you can have these HVA lines for the momentum trades and targets. And then you will need Chart Prime to produce supply and demand. And you guys that have zones that I don't, have you done F5? Have you tried to reload everything? We're losing people. People are getting bored. It's already 11:30, guys. The market's been open for 2 hours. Market's been open for 2 hours. I've taken one trade. I'm up almost $700. Is that a good day? Or is that a bad day, right? That's the question. Well, Mark's only taken one trade. If we stopped now and did that, here we go, did that every day, one trade, is anyone mad about $150,000 a year? Chef, you have to step away. You'll be traveling again this weekend, but with TV, we'll be here more regularly again. You can get proficient with TV. Awesome. Chef, it's great to see your face in this room. I'm glad to see you coming over to TV using the funding account. Guys, never hesitate if you need me. You can always reach out if you need me. Oh, I'm sorry. Ale, I did it. I did a live example, Steven. Did you miss it? Did you ask a question then leave the room? No worries. We'll do it again. We'll do it again. But I have to do it on simulator, guys, because it doesn't fit the rules. So on simulator, Steven, let's say we go long because we want to go with the large chart from above trouble. What a concept, right? I'm going to put a ridiculous stop loss just for the lesson. So I am long 4 contracts, and I'm going to put my target 7 days above. In order to take multiple profit zones, I can take this down to 1 contract, and I can put a limit order to sell. It's the opposite of buy, and that'll take 1 contract off. And I could do another one, limit order to sell, and that'll take another contract off. So if my first target is hit, watch this, it goes to 3 on both my biggest target as well as my stop loss. If my second target is hit, it goes to 2 on both my largest and my lowest. And even if I just hit sell, it would take off 1 more contract. And if I hit the X, I'm out all 4. So you'll use the originals for your furthest target and stop losses, and then you'll back up and use limit orders to catch the profits in between. Does that make sense? Congratulations, Boaz. I hope it works out for you. Oh, no worries. No worries at all. When John Novak used to teach, I would ask a question. If it took him too long to get to it, sometimes I would disappear for the answer. Boaz, I'm rooting for you, brother. You've got everything up, right? You're on the transition side. TradingView hasn't given an entry yet. But Boaz says, well, on my Renko charts, I absolutely got an entry. And why? Because Boaz had everything going up. He was above trouble. Boaz probably long from around 0650, right? Looking to get up to 720. Guys, could you imagine if you were proficient in Renko too? You may have found a way to capitalize on that. Boaz, I know your plan. It's a great plan. It doesn't always work out on TradingView the same way that it works out on Renko, guys. They are 2 very separate platforms. And different bar structure. And we've got everything up. We're in the transition side. But my small triggers have turned against me on my 1 minute. Hey, Jerry, have a great afternoon. I'm looking forward to it too. I can't wait to sit in it. I was hoping we were going to come through Phoenix and get to fly in your airplane, but it didn't happen. When we leave, we're going to have to go a different direction. Dang it. And guys, since the small triggers turned against me, I have to wait for a close above to trade with the transition side above trouble. Does that make sense, everybody? Smalls are up, transition side, above trouble, room to trouble. But since my smalls turned against me, guys, I'm obligated to wait. Obligated to wait. That's my plan. I still haven't gotten an entry. Isn't that amazing? Whew. Thank you, rules. We're down to 64. They keep dropping. They keep dropping. Steven, did that help you out though? Did that answer the question on those? And let's get back to the live account. Push back triggers. Push back triggers. And for those of you that aren't normally in my classroom, guys, we do this every day. We talk about rules every day. We answer every question that you have every day. You get feedback on everything that you do every day in this room. All you have to do is post and ask. I feel very comfortable saying that the educational standpoint that John Novak has put forward, that the way he's put it together is the best in the business. And I encourage you guys daily to keep it simple. And if you keep it simple, guys, you didn't take a loser here. And Boaz, I'm sorry if they got you. So Carla, check this out. No, I never limit people. Gixam, I want all of you in here. So Carla, from this link right here, boom, boom, boom. This is yesterday's class, day before, day before, day before. And all of these classes for about the last month have covered the rules for not only NinjaTrader, but also TradingView. So you can go back and look at them over and over, right? Boaz, you were able to get a little something out of it. Nicely done, man. Boaz, I've been watching you trade for a long time. You're an amazing trader. You have a great plan. And you were able to find something on Renko that didn't fit in over here. No worries. You're welcome, Carla. Join the class. Guys, if you're in the funding company trying to make money, join the class. Let's learn how to beat that mofo, right? Let's learn how to get paid. There's no doubt in my mind. Is there anybody today under $400 in TradingView following the plan? I've only had one trade. I'm at 700. I've had one trade today, guys. I missed the one Jerry took because we were talking about rules. Isn't it amazing? Which I could probably get answered on rules from prop account. Can I trade 4 contracts? Yes. Victor, you can trade 4 contracts. Guys, I'm going to tell you, just from my own experience, one of the things people do in prop firms, guys, 10's the limit, right? I see a lot of people, and I appreciate that you buy multiple accounts and that you try to win in 5 accounts at the same time. And what a great way to compound money, right? Over leverage is one of the biggest killers of day traders. Day traders chasing money with multiple contracts rather than consistency. Victor, here's another question. Could you minimize your risk on a 2 lot and just use the copier on a second account so that you're not over leveraged, so you've got tons of wiggle room? Because if you can make $200 a day on 1, you can trade up to 5, turn it into $1,000, right? You don't have to increase your risk. You don't have to increase your exposure. You don't have to over leverage an account. That's one of the cool things about the copier. I love it. Carla, how do you get your chart? Mine is on the Renko charts. You like the simplicity. So Carla, this is TradingView. Don't have Renko bars. Are you talking about recreating it in NinjaTrader? Because you know I have an answer for you, right? Oh, you have TradingView? Yeah. So from the plan that I'll drop it in the room one more time for you, or even better, let me copy this link. If you click on that link, what it's going to do is it's going to bring you to the browser version of what I have going on in the room. And then if you copy it, well, I'm not signed in. If you copy it, you can call it Carla's Naz Daiquiri something, right? And save it, and then you can have the exact same look that I have, that simplicity. And Carla, I know that you've been in the room before. Guys, every way that I teach, the way that I teach in the room is the byproduct of 1,000 failures. The way I teach in the room is a result of the challenges that I had trying to learn the system. All of the simple, the removing the noise, right? Not having large triggers, not using background colors, is because new users tend to not focus on what's important. They focus on everything, and they try to give everything like weight and value, and not everything does. So you're struggling with placing the limit orders after the initial buy sell. So Ale, if you're in 2 contracts, you have to reduce your contract count to 1. Does that part make sense? So let's go back to a simulator to do it. So if I'm short 2 contracts, guys, this is not a trade. This is not rules met. This is you learning how to use profit targets and stop losses. My profit target is way in the distance. My stop loss is ridiculous off in the distance. And Steven, if I want to take half of my position off, the first thing I have to do is reduce my quantity to 1 because I'm in 2 contracts. Does that make sense? So that's the first part. And then once I do that, see that little plus? If I click that little plus, it'll give me the option for a buy limit. So because I'm short, the opposite is buy. So that buy limit will remove 1 contract. So if it hits my buy limit, and I'm going to force it to, I'm now 1 contract. So practice it on simulator a little bit so that the mechanics are there. And if you lost that trade, if you took it, no rules are met, my friends. No rules are met. Not yet. The plus sign is what you're missing. You can also right click, and when you right click on a chart, you can do it. You could just right click and activate a limit order as well without the plus. 11:47 a.m. guys, coming into the lunch hour. Day nada, my friend. Small triggers are down. Does everybody see it? What direction is the most basic plan having you look for a trade? Up or down? Down. Strong side, transition side, or weak side? That's going to help us learn how to manage. Most current price. One of the ways you can do this is a little trick. Check this out. Take the arrow and draw it on the bottom line. I'm either above it or below it. I'm below it, strong side. Is there room to targets? What do you guys think? The VWAP is the next thing in the way that could potentially stop my good time. That's a lot of room, huh? Guys, this is a momentum style trade with strong triggers. Stop loss goes just above the triggers. Top profit target from 86.50. 76.50 is my $200. And it's either going to work or it's not. Maybe we'll get a loser out of this one. There we go, took a loser. That was your momentum style trade. And if a momentum style trade fails, very often, it becomes a trend trade. Small triggers will roll against. You'll have to take a close on the correct side. Does that make sense? Smalls are down, strong side of smalls, room to trouble, with strong triggers, sell the area. If it doesn't work, and it didn't, we have to wait for the close on the correct side. So guys, we've taken 2 trades and I just took a loser right in front of you. Does anybody feel bad about the loser? Does anyone feel like I made a mistake? Does anybody feel like the software isn't efficient or effective? Or did it just not work? Guys, losses are a normal part of a positive equity curve. Losses are a part of trading. They just pushed up a little higher. It happens. If I get a close on the correct side around 80, that's about $140 per contract risk, but it fits the rules. Small triggers down. I just have to be below trouble too. And that wasn't a close below. Do you guys want to hang out long enough to see if we get a trade down? Or are you guys ready to call it? We've got 10 minutes. My rules say a close below the small triggers is a reason for me to go short. Small triggers down, strong side, room to trouble. It always works it out, guys. It all starts here. We have 33 seconds to see what the market wants to do. And guys, do you remember we can't take a close inside of that zone? That means that we have absolutely no room to trouble. We're in trouble. 18 seconds before we have to make a decision. 11 seconds before we have to make a decision. Ollie, okay, I'm going to read this out loud. I win a lot on sim. When I switch to my eval, my first trade is usually a loss. I'm going to do a few months of back test this weekend. So Ollie, the question is, are you breaking rules when you take that loss live? That's the most important question. So, do you trust your plan, Ollie? Okay. Does it win more than it loses, Ollie? Can you prove that your plan wins more than it loses? Then why are you worried about the first trade being a loser? It's no fun. But if you follow the plan, Ollie, if you take your first trade, the exact same trade 10 times, how many times is it likely to win? Maybe 7? Guys, we don't get to pick when our losers happen. We don't get to pick when the momentum trade fails. We don't. The only thing we can do is follow the plan that we have that we can prove wins more than it loses. Ollie, thank you for saying that. Guys, if I get a close, look at this, those sons of bitches. That's a lot of risk, isn't it? That's a lot of risk. And you're absolutely right, Todd. Trading is about having a sample of trades. It's about having 20, 30 trades. Guys, look at what they did. In one bar, they went all the way to the HVA. They bounced all the way back up above the zone. They're closing all the way back down. And there's still 5 seconds. And guys, it's still a short trade if you take it. But there's nowhere to go. Does that make sense? There's nowhere to go on the small chart. We've got trouble. And they're just from 84 to 82 doesn't give me any reaction time. And I know that that's a pain in the butt. But there's no reaction time. If they decide to come up and retest a little bit, I'm in trouble. So we'll wait. The next one's coming. Guys, we waited an hour and a half for the first one. It was worth every penny. The next one's coming. Steven, it's a part of it. If you click on that little wagon wheel in the bottom right and go to more settings, it's in the scales and lines and it's countdown to bar close. And that'll give you that timer. And I can't tell you, Steven, that timer has changed my trading. That timer has made everything I do better because it forces me to be calm and it forces me to be patient. And sometimes, guys, they're not going to give you your best entry. No, that's a part of TradingView. It's one of the TradingView settings. It's not even an indicator. It's an option for you in TradingView to be able to see that. Guys, that trouble still hasn't given it up. Do you see it? I don't need that stress in my life. My hair's already thinning, going gray. No room to targets. No reason to take the trade, guys. Isn't that awesome? And we're going to call it. We're going to call it a day. I'm going to end the